Welcome to the Kayfabe Today podcast. My name is Eric. You can follow me on Twitter at MTLBroski, and I'm here today with the other half of the Can-Am Delights, Mr. Reliable, the man who never lets me down, Travis from the Hibiki TMD YouTube channel. Travis, welcome once again to the Kayfabe Today podcast. How are you today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me back. Good to be back. And how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Couldn't be here last week when I did the show with Drew, so it's good to have you back here by my side this week. Drew and Robbie will be on a future episode of the show. This has been such a fucking weird week. Can we talk about that for just real quick? It's been such a weird week where I've had podcasts planned for like 3 out of the 5 days of a typical work week, and I've done none of them. Mostly all my fault. I got to admit. It was such a weird week. I would like get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, be super productive, and then afternoon, I'd just be like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
I mean, you woke up at 4 a.m. That's bound to happen, I guess.
Yeah, I'm getting old. I used to be able to like live off of 3 hours of sleep. I can't
It has
anymore.
been a week, though. I gotta agree. Definitely.
It's been a fucking roller coaster. Some very, very high highs, some very low lows. It's not leaving anybody indifferent. But you know what? I'm going to start the show with a little promo. All right? The Lord and Savior of KayfabeToday.com, Kieran, he asked me very nicely if we could, pitch some of our affiliates. We got some SummerSlam articles up on the website, KayfabeToday.com, that you definitely need to check out. Some nice a nice nostalgic trip down memory lane. Fuck, that was hard to say. Where the writers and contributors to the website talk about their favorite their favorite SummerSlams. I would also need to mention the PW South podcast on Tapped Out, so be sure to check them out. And also, we have a brand new association with at Ringside World on Twitter, the best place to buy wrestling and MMA tickets in the UK. So be sure to check them out on Twitter at Ringside World. There we go. Got that out of the way.
Yeah. Boom.
I'm going to have to write myself up a little script. I did that on the fly. It was very sloppy. Very sloppy.
Impressive. For on the fly, that was very impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's why Travis is on the show. The day he doesn't give me a compliment after I'm insecure, he's out of here. All right, so this week on Twitter, I asked everybody a very single question. I want to try to do this more, just put a question of the week out there. Because I like the interaction with the audience, and I got some good ones. I got some funny ones, some serious ones, and some great answers from you guys. So we're gonna read them out here real quick. Now, the question for this week was, why do you watch wrestling, or why do you enjoy wrestling? Why are you a wrestling fan? All right, at Logan Myers, my co-host on the Future of Wrestling podcast, right there in the channel box. Be sure to go there and subscribe. He says, "Wrestling is life. Life is wrestling. It's an art that I have grown up to love." And especially now doing stuff on the indie scene. For those of you who don't know, Logan's the next Jim Ross on the indie scene. Calling the action the way he sees it, right down the middle. Unless he's a heel. No, I can't picture Logan being a heel.
Then he's Oklahoma from WCW then.
There you go. We don't want that, though.
No.
Next, I've already mentioned him, but I'm going to mention him again because he signs my paychecks at the Kieran James. Lord and Savior of KayfabeToday.com, he says, for the independent scene in my area, Chaos Wrestling and Attack Pro and Dragon Pro. For me, WWE is just something to watch when I'm not at live shows. So Kieran's clearly an indie guy. And I can understand that, and especially for a guy in the UK. I don't think anybody can deny that the hottest indie scene right now is over there in the UK.
By far.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even really a competition. I mean, like, sure, you have ROH in the States, but, I mean, does it have that kind of... Because the UK indie scene has a crazy fan base, but not so much Roman Reigns crazy, but very dedicated. Maybe dedicated would be a better word. They have a very dedicated fan base out there, and I like to mess with them. I like to mess with those indie marks over there in the UK. But I totally get where Kieran is coming from. Jim from Drink a Beer and Play a Game. Go subscribe to them. They're good people, and Jim is probably one of my favorite people on the internet. At this point, I don't know why. One of the few hobbies I have left, but so much of it is just bad. I got that a lot, actually. A lot of people are just holding on because it's something that they've been doing their entire lives. They might not follow it week to week, but there's still that little spark Like,
Yeah.
have you ever been completely out of wrestling? And when I mean completely out of wrestling, I mean like not just not watching it, but you don't talk about it, you don't look stuff up online, you don't keep kind of informed
Oh,
with the news.
this is gonna make me sound like the lamest little kid from back in the day. When Hogan left in '92, I stopped. Hogan was my guy. When you remember he left
I
after
did that
WrestleMania 8.
too.
Did you? Okay, then. So
Yes,
there it is. I
yes.
didn't give a shit until like, I swear to God, like I went to King of the Ring '94 as a kid. I didn't watch any of that for 2 years. For 2 years, and I didn't get back into. I went to that pay-per-view, and then I was hooked again because I got the experience, I guess.
Me, it was the rise
But
of Bret Hart. After Hogan left, when Bret Hart
yeah,
started getting his push again, or not again, but started getting that main event push, that's kind of what brought me back in. So I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, the Hitman. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the Hogan thing, because dude, I was diehard Hogan. You
yeah.
know, like
Come at us, people. We were kids. If you were a kid back then, and you're gonna say you weren't a Hulkamaniac, you're a liar.
oh, that's
Because I think
bullshit.
everybody got bit by that bug as a child.
That's like saying in high school, for us anyway, you weren't a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan.
Yeah, basically, or DX or The Rock.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like people still say "suck it" to this day because of DX. That like DX made "suck it" popular.
Just had their 20th anniversary. I saw too.
God, that
DX.
made me feel fucking old. Because I remember
Me
Sean
too.
and I remember Sean and Hunter creating DX, and then I remember Hunter taking over DX after WrestleMania when Sean
Yeah,
dropped the title to Stone Cold.
the X-Pac re-debuted.
Yeah,
It's a classic
exactly,
moment.
exactly.
But man, like more modern times, I gotta admit, I did fall off from like late '03 to about early '05. 2004, I know a lot of people love that year. For me, it's one of the worst years in the history of that company. I don't know why. I wasn't all about the Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit title run. Like, I get it, respect them because they passed away. They're great performers, but for me, they were just never that guy.
Well, respect
So in
one of
04,
them.
well, yeah, my bad. But in '04 though, even then when I saw Eddie Guerrero win the title, I was like, really? Like, and I know that sounds horrible now looking back because of how praised Eddie, but then I was like, is this the route we're going? I just didn't see Eddie that way.
You know,
So yeah, I fell off in '04.
me it was like
Definitely.
2006 to about 2010 where I wasn't completely out. I would still check the dirt sheets and like the websites online, but I didn't watch it. And it's just when like the rise of CM Punk and Zack Ryder is what brought me back full time watching it. So,
Right.
I
I mean,
mean,
the company can say what they want and have their feelings about Punk at the end of the day, but he really did rejuvenate that company in
oh,
2011
he
with the
did,
pipe bomb.
he
He
did,
brought a ton of new up. Free bring up Jim. He was one of the guys that got back in because of Punk in that time.
yeah. And I mean, they can deny it all they want, but he made wrestling cool again for a very brief period of time, and then they fucked it up.
I don't know if he made it cool. I think he just put more of an edge to it because that 2010 Nexus to like that time was so hokey and just so Cena. And I mean, I'm not just saying,
Yeah,
I mean Cena at his complete worst,
yeah.
cheesiest, no fucking character to him. It was brutal. But I hung on. It's crazy that I watched every fucking episode of Raw in 2010, but I skipped out on like 93 and 94 for the most part. Looking
Yeah,
back.
well, we can't always make the best life decisions.
Good question, though. I like that question.
Up next was at Luke_Dorsch on Twitter. It's just been a part of my life for 33 years. Pro wrestling is as much a part of my life as anything, or a part of my shtick as anything. And I think that goes for a lot of us. He's our age, so I
Yeah.
mean it's probably that and video games, the two constants in my life. If I wasn't watching wrestling, I might be playing video games or playing a video game about wrestling. You
Yeah, I was
know?
about to order a wrestling game.
Yeah.
I think really, I think for me, pro wrestling, because when I was young, I was really into sports like baseball and all that. Pro wrestling was this beautiful hybrid for me as a kid. It was like a mixture of a sports cast, but wasn't completely boring and had drama. So, like I say, it was just this mixture of everything. I like comic book characters come to life. Everything I loved as a kid was just wrestling in a melting pot, basically.
Well, wrestling to me as a kid was everything that I loved that sports didn't have.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
because I was a big being Canadian. It's law by the age of 3 you have to have skates on your feet. So like I would play hockey and I would watch hockey and love hockey, but it didn't have that in your face jump through the screen big colorful cast of characters. It just had a bunch of French dudes with no teeth. You
And I
know,
think with wrestling, and when you're a little kid and you take a risk when you like a sports team, the hero doesn't always win if you're just watching regular sports. Now, at least in
that's
wrestling,
true.
the good guy prevailed back then, so you got what you were looking for at the end of the day, I guess. But your
That's
team could have sucked every year if you were a kid.
That's really fucking interesting. I mean, I grew up in Montreal with a team of champions, so I don't know what that's like. But
Oh, here we go. Well, the Expos, they were red hot.
for that 1 year that the Expos
For
got
that
so
1 year,
fucked.
yeah.
That 1 year where they were gonna win, they were fucking destroying everything. And what happens? Boom, strike. No, fuck you. And then they got shipped off to Washington. Bye.
See,
Nobody
that's still the biggest baseball stadium ever, Olympic Stadium.
Is it really?
I believe so.
Oh, well, I've been there a bunch of times. It's
It's huge.
It's fucking. It looks like a toilet bowl. I hate it. It cost us a lot of money tax-wise too. I'm not gonna. Don't get me started on the Olympic Stadium. Up next, we have at Rocky Baya. It was love at first sight for me. Wrestling is the only thing that is constant in my eyes. The larger-than-life persona inspires me. It's basically exactly what we just said. You know, love at first. But that's another thing. Love at first sight. When you're a kid, the big characters that you see on TV, and that's why I can understand why kids like a Sasha Banks, because she has like big colorful hair and she comes out with like plastic glasses that they can wear too. You know, and like or like especially for the divas, not so much there's no big colorful. Who's a big colorful character now? I guess like
In
for
the divas?
No, I mean for the kids or even for the divas. Like, but for like the kids, who do you think like? I mean, besides Cena, I mean that's obvious, you know. But like, who's that?
That is a harder question than it should be, actually.
Right?
I mean, maybe Nakamura, but colorful. I don't know.
So I think Nakamura's more for the marks.
Right. That's a damn good question that I may need to think about, because they've done a piss poor job at just. They used to be masters at creating these cartoony characters, and now when we bring up the Nexus, I still call that the birth of the undies era, when all these guys are in short undies tights and they all look like carbon copies from a creator wrestler.
The undies
and it's
era.
been that way for like 7 years until like this influx of NXT since 2014. We've seen more characters like a Bray Wyatt, the Ascension, stuff like that. There you go, maybe the Ascension. I don't think kids like the Ascension, but they're colorful.
They are, and you know what, dude? If WWE let the Ascension be who they were at the house show that I went to recently, fuck, dude, they were hilarious. It was Ascension versus the New Day, and like, God, so much personality, like just to the point where I was like, is this the Ascension I see on TV? I was like, who are these dudes? These guys are fucking fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, you just said the obvious answer that should have been in front of our face the whole time. The New Day. Kids love the New Day, and
there you go. There you go. Jesus Christ. What a bunch of losers today. Well, it's Sunday, huh? You know, the week's winding down. We're taking it easy. All right, up next we have the Megan Star. I love Megan. Because it's what I know. I enjoy it for the most part. There is something about it that isn't like anything else. That's very true. The intangible. The mixture of theater. And here's the thing about wrestling that non-wrestling fans, I don't think they quite understand. Wrestling is live theater on TV in one take all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Yeah,
I film 7-minute YouTube videos and I can't do it in one take.
At this point, at this stage of the game in 2017, non-wrestling fans who use that tried and true, it's fake excuse is so overplayed it's not even funny. We're aware. We're fucking aware it's fake. Movies are also fake. I just want to point that out.
And so is The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and all the other fucking shows that you love.
Yeah.
I'm with you on The Walking Dead. Not so much Game of Thrones.
But I do get it where pro wrestling is totally hokey. But it's a so bad it's good type of thing for us fans, I think, at the end of the day. And that's okay. I mean, people like Adam Sandler movies, and they're not the fucking best goddamn pieces of work out there.
Not anymore, no. But the thing about wrestling is that, like, when I went to the show, and one thing that live events are just fun. And the TV gets so serious and so, like it forgets what it's supposed to be. And it has its head up its own ass. Like, I feel like Raw most of the time, the writers have their head up their own ass because they're not paying attention to the live events. Because the live events, everybody is over. Everybody is over. Some to like a lesser extent, but everybody is over. And it's crazy.
Because they're allowed to be themselves to get themselves over, as opposed to this vision of an out-of-touch old man to get viewers. At this stage of the game, I would much rather go to a house show than a Raw or SmackDown. Because essentially, when you go to a Raw or SmackDown, you're watching television with a couple thousand people on the big screen most of it, and waiting.
That's true. That's true. And, like, if Rusev was allowed to do the stuff he does on house shows, where Montreal was desperate to be, like, Rusev marks, they just wanted to cheer him so bad, and every time they would start to cheer him, he'd reach over to get the Bulgarian flag, start waving it around, and just like like pantomiming, telling the crowd to go fuck themselves and shit. Like, it was fucking beautiful, and I was on my feet.
I mean, we still.
Oh, go
We
ahead.
see little things of that, like on SmackDowns and Raw. Like we'll get to it later. We saw with Owens this week. He made the pander to the crowd Bret Hart comment and then turned on him immediately. And it was awesome.
God, that was
like a true
beautiful.
heel.
That was fucking beautiful. We got a couple more here, so we'll get through them real quick, and we'll get into our Raw and SmackDown reviews. We got Mike Kilby, the most beautiful man in the UK. He says, this is the best. I like to get drunk and shout at people tougher than I am with no consequences. That was my favorite one. That was like, all the other ones, I really appreciate all the feedback, but Mike fucking nailed it for me, because that's pretty much what I like doing too. I love.
Well, there's no
talking
consequences unless you're a African American man watching an indie Chris hero at a show. If you heckle him, he's gonna make
fuck you up. Fuck you up. And then at Panda HQ Sky, he was raised on it. Then during his addiction days, it became an escape from demons. Now it's common to bond with people about wrestling that he's never met. Which is a fucking great point, because this podcast is a testament to what he just said. Because we've never met each other. We only know each other from Twitter. And I talk to you more than I talk to most people I know in my life.
It's at the point where I talk to you more than Tannen, who is my real life co-host on the Reset Button, who I know in real life.
Well, there you go.
It's crazy.
There you go. But it's true, though. You put a couple wrestling fans, and as long as it's not like hardcore WWE and then like across the room you got hardcore indie people, and everybody usually gets along, and you can have some pretty good discussions with people you met 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
I've had
Stop taking it so serious, guys. That's the bottom line about wrestling.
Exactly. I've had so many people. I've been on so many podcasts where the first time I was on the podcast was the first time we were actually speaking to each other. And if you go back and listen, you'll never know. And the only reason for that is because we were talking about wrestling. Otherwise, it'd be an awkward mess.
Yeah.
An awkward mess, Travis.
It's definitely a genre that brings so many types of people together. I know they have like sports and movies, but something about wrestling, even if it's like football or baseball, yeah, we're fans of the same team, but you don't really spark a lot of conversation, maybe stat-wise with your team that year. But that's with wrestling. I can take someone who's the complete polar opposite of me and just have this bond over these fucking guys in the ring performing. You know what I mean?
As much as we argue with each other, wrestling fans, that is, as much as like a lot of the times we're just flinging shit at each other. If you ever want to see how real a wrestling bond can be, just watch when a celebrity outside of wrestling says something negative about it, and go to their Twitter feed and just watch what happens.
I've always thought Kings of Leon were a terrible band, so that doesn't really...
No, and that kind of worked out for me. The only one I gave a pass to, and it's because I really like his podcast, is Joe Rogan. He said some shitty shit. He said some shitty things about wrestling, but I'm like, but I like your podcast so much. Okay, yeah. I'll let this one slide. And then finally, Sheiky Baby, the Grand Eloquency 1 on Twitter. I like seeing sweaty, oiled up men mount each other. ... What? So I thought we'd end it on that one. From Sheiky Baby.
Eric, do you think it was the spectacle of wrestling the dream, or a specific guy? Like, if it wouldn't have been Hogan, would you have been drawn in? Because I'll flat out say, if my introduction to wrestling as a kid was NWA, I wouldn't have probably fallen in love with it so much. It was Hogan, flat out, that drew me into wrestling. He was my harbinger.
No, because the thing is I'm a wrestling fan because my dad used to take me to indie shows when I was really young. Like, really, really young. So wrestling was just something that I used to do with my dad. It wasn't really particularly one guy. It started off being as a thing that I did with my dad that I liked doing because he worked a lot, so we didn't really do much together. But eventually it turned into I love Hulk Hogan when I was a little bit older. We're older here. We're talking like 5-6 years old. So still not that old. And it turned into and then Hulk Hogan was my guy, and then I wanted all the LJN Hulk Hogan figures. And then the little figures with the when he would body slam people with the spring-loaded arms.
Yes, the Hasbro.
Hasbro, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think the Hasbro, because the LJNs were the big kind of rubberish dolls.
Yep, the rubber ones. I always remember my Bruno San Martino I had as a kid. I had no fucking clue who he was as a kid, but he was cool looking.
Dude, I had Macho and Hogan. That's who I had, and I had the Sheik, and I can't remember the other one I had, but I had 2 heels and 2 baby faces, and I had the ring. And I used to put, this This is so stupid. Kids are so fucking dumb, but I used to take my ring and I used to play with it in the kitchen because the sound it made when the wrestling toys hit the ring sounded more like it sounded on TV than if it was on the carpet.
Your mom mic'd up the ring in the kitchen for you.
Yeah, I got a nice organic mic up of the wrestling ring, and then my dad stepped on it, and I never got another one. Fucking heartbroken. It's like happened when I was like 8 years old, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. Stepped right through the fucking thing. Blamed me for it.
Start a Patreon and get you a new Hasbro ring, man.
Yeah, patreon.com/FTITM. Get me a big old ring. It was the ones with like the stickers on the side that had like the announcers and some fans, and it was like the old red, white, and blue ropes. God.
Yes. Didn't that have a built-in, like, you could put an American flag in the corner?
Yes.
Or was that a ring? Okay, there you go.
Yes.
There it is. We had the same ring.
It's fucking beautiful, that thing.
This is not a toy collector show. I'm just putting that up. But I miss my wrestling.
No, and this took a turn for the depressing. So here, listen to a Shining Wizards ad, and we'll be right back.
If you're not tuned in to the Shining Wizards, listen to what some of our fans have to say about the show.
Oh my God, I just love the Shining Wizards. It's 4 fucking virgin marks complaining about a fucking fake fighting show. Keep going, boys. The Stallion fucking loves you.
Tune in live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. East, rantemradio.com. It's the Shining Wizards, where it's wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
And we're back. I had a good cry in Travis's arms just now, so I feel better and I'm ready to get through Monday Night Raw, which honestly might make me cry in your arms once again once it's over. Actually, it wasn't that bad this week. It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad.
It's been better.
Yeah, well, let's not go down that road. Your official results for Monday Night Raw. Sheamus defeated Seth Rollins in 8 minutes and 45 seconds via pinfall. Jason Jordan defeated my hometown hero, a national star, Jean-Pierre Goulet, at 1 minute and 20 seconds via pinfall. Sasha Banks defeated Alicia Fox and Emma at 4 minutes and 25 seconds. The Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, defeated Big Show and Enzo. Dean Ambrose defeated Cesaro at 19 minutes and 25 seconds via pinfall. I started forgetting to read the time in pinfall. Akira Tozawa defeated Arya Daivari at 3:50 via pinfall, and Nia Jax defeated Mickie James and Dana Brooke at 3:01 via pinfall. And then a last man standing main event, Braun Strowman defeating Roman Reigns at 22 minutes and 4 seconds via he couldn't get up. I don't even remember. I remember that match being really, really well. We'll get to it later.
The Life Alert gimmick.
Oh right. Oh, Life Alert gimmick. God, what a great commercial that is. Is that the I've fallen and I can't get up?
He should be. Yeah.
Oh God, I love
it. Should be him. It should be him on the ground. He can't get up, and Karen Jarrett standing over him. He's reaching up.
Oh shit. The show started off with the Miz TV, which, God, I'm so sick of Raw starting off with fucking promos that just don't feel natural. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. This was really just the best part of this segment is Brock Lesnar coming out and beating the shit out of everybody.
That was awesome.
That was great.
I think the Miztourage desperately needs a fourth, and by a fourth I mean like a shit kicker. And I saw someone pitch this on Twitter, and I gotta agree, throw Big Cass in there. Fuck it, make him the enforcer of the Miztourage. You have nothing to lose. I mean, and let's look at it on paper. Perception is reality. We say it all the time. No one in that group is threatening. Brock handled them like nobody's business.
The thing that bothered me the most about this segment is kick the shit out of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel all day long. That's fine. Miz should have gotten away.
Yeah. Miz chicken shit heel escapish.
Well, it's your fucking champion, and he just gets destroyed. But I guess, you could have the people out there arguing, oh, but Broski, Brock Lesnar's the Universal Champion. Of course he's going to go over the Miz. Yeah, but you don't need to sacrifice the Miz to make your champion look better. That's ridiculous.
And these are the same people that are like, make the IC title relevant again.
Yeah, exactly. How are you supposed to make it relevant when your champion just beats the shit out of it? You
can't have it both ways, people.
No, it just doesn't make sense. And I just didn't like the way that was. Other than that, this was fine, except for just like the promo and shit. Who cares? Miz calls out Jason Jordan. Who cares? Nobody cares. I don't care. I really don't care. Do you care?
It's not working. I could have cared if. No, I don't care. I really don't. Yes, I'm okay with kayfabe relation storylines. Undertaker and Kane was a tremendous storyline in the beginning. That's fine. It's just how you go about it. Timing. These guys were not ready to be split up. I know that's what everyone's saying right now, but everyone's saying is this the truth.
And I think you're the one who said this 2 weeks ago, is when has nepotism ever been a way to get a guy over?
Never. Unless it's a heel angle with like a McMahon or Triple H in the McMahon-Helmsley era. But you're right. Go back and look. Eric Watts, Greg Gagne, David Bruno. David Sammartino's shadow was so large, they renamed him David Bruno Sammartino. How cold is it in that fucking shadow, David?
That's woof. Woof.
Yeah. No, but you're right. It's never worked. It's always shit the bed. Look at Eric Watts in WCW, like I said. Greg Gagne got over to an extent in AWA, but everybody knew it was nepotism. Greg Gagne was like a toothpick
and I mean,
at its peak.
And another thing that's, he mentions Jason Jordan, calls out Jason Jordan, then Brock Lesnar comes out, which instantly means nobody gives a fuck about Jason Jordan anymore. So what's the point?
Do you think there's a master plan in this? I'd like to think there's got to be something as bad as they're just shitting the bed every week with the Jordan stuff. When Rene Goulet's son is getting a reaction like that over a guy you're trying to push, something's wrong.
Yeah, right? Right?
I don't know. I don't know. And I think someone asked you and I on a show or a chat the other day, which guy we see from Alpha breaking out, and right now neither, because it was too early to split him up. If anybody, maybe Chad Gable on his ring skills alone, but I don't know.
I don't know if ring skills are enough to get him over anymore. But he is the better talker out of the two. He's the better wrestler, so I mean.
Yeah.
Up next, a match that surprisingly I was really into, Seth Rollins versus Sheamus. I'm enjoying this little back and forth between Sheamus and Rollins.
At least Sheamus didn't forget his title belt and didn't trip on his entrance.
That's true.
See that?
I did. Commentary.
How do you forget your fucking title belt? And he wasn't accompanying Sheamus. I know that's the match later on, but Cesaro had the match, and he forgot his belt.
Yeah, he did.
Great.
He did.
But dude, I'm really enjoying these Sheamus Seth matches. They have a good chemistry. It's a big man, smaller, flippity doodah type guy, and I think they're playing off each other well. I want to see more, actually. I never thought I'd say that.
No, me neither. And the thing is that I've been so apathetic towards Rollins, and I don't want to be. Like, that's the thing. I don't want to be. I really like Rollins. I want him to succeed, and I want him to be in interesting storylines, but he hasn't been at all ever since he came back. Basically, ever since he came back, and then turned heel and everybody thought he would be a babyface, and then right after that they show a fucking ultimate babyface video documentary. Like, what are you, fucking retarded? So I mean, that was completely botched, but like, this was good. I've been really excited to see him against Sheamus. Sheamus is another guy I never thought I'd have anything really that good to say about, and ever since he's been with Cesaro, I love what they're doing for each other. They feed off each other.
They're flat out. They're making me, and I'm pretty sure you eat our words, because I think when they put this team together months ago, we were bummed because we wanted Cesaro pushed so bad. But hey, it's been nothing but good. I mean, I love this team.
No, I was one of the few people that was excited for their Best of 7 series. I didn't like the way it went, and I thought the double count out on the final match was terrible. But when they put them together, I was like, you know what? Neither of these guys is going to be doing anything else otherwise, so why not? So I kind of went into it already being a slight fan, interested in it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad it's gone where it's gone, and they've been a great tag team. They look like a tag team. They at least, their entrance is cool. They do it together. So, at least they're doing all the things that a tag team should do. And now and I enjoy this kind of breaking them off every once in a while to have a singles match. It's very old school.
Yep. And I think that you may disagree with me, but I think I'm in the mind state now. I've just let go of the Cesaro push happening. I don't think we're going to get it ever. I don't think Vince sees anything in Cesaro, and that sucks because he does have something, and that's asinine, but I just don't think it's ever going to happen. I'm sick of waiting for it,
But I will say that the only thing about this match is that they went right for the 50-50 booking. Which I guess at this point is kind of useless to complain about. I'm nitpicking though with that one really at this point.
If any kind of rivalry where that 50-50 even Steven shit gets a pass for me, it's like this when it's a tag team but members of the team are having singles matches. Yeah. I guess that's at the end that's okay. But if this is like a world title feud or an IC title feud, even Steven kills it. It's different.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said at this point I'm nitpicking. It's just that little thing
Well, you're not nitpicking because this company, let's face it, they can't help themselves. They haven't been able to help themselves for years with this on TV even Steven shit. And it's flat out. Look what it's done to guys like Ziggler. Look what it's done to Kevin Owens was red hot when he first came in. Then he cooled off because of this kind of shit. Now he's kind of getting momentum again. You know what I mean? So, no, you're not nitpicking. It's just they make it so hard to fucking decipher when it's the right time to do that shit. Because they do it all the time.
No, I agree with you. When I said nitpicking, I meant like in the context of this one particular match. Overall, I agree with you, though. Yeah, after the match, Rollins tries to attack the champions, but he gets his ass kicked, so he went to the Dean Ambrose school of calling someone out. Crowd cheers for Ambrose, but as he promised, he didn't show up, so he's a man of his word, even though he's a goofy fuck. We then go backstage, and where Rollins is limping around, selling his injuries. He runs into Ambrose, who said he told him not to do that again. Rollins says he's a jerk and wants to know what he has to do to prove that he has changed. Ambrose refuses to get burned again and says he has Cesaro later tonight, and as always, he'll do it himself. This was the worst segment of Monday Night Raw. I don't like how Dean Ambrose is Seth Rollins' scorned ex-girlfriend, and Seth Rollins is the beta male who's going crawling back to her.
It's brutal, man. I see people praising this angle. See, this is the best angle going. They got me hooked. Why? Yeah. Why are you hooked by this? Because what they do later on made no sense, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. God. We then find out that, shock and awe, and woe is me, Curtis Axel was injured by Brock Lesnar in the first Miss TV segment. He won't be able to compete against Jason Jordan, which leaves Angle to frantically look for some competition for his son, who turned out to be Jean-Pierre Goulet, Quebec's national hero. I can't believe he got a pop in Toronto. I got to give respect to Toronto. As much as I hate your fucking city, thank you for cheering our hometown hero. And by the way,
not an Edge head.
No, I like Edge.
There you go.
I make exceptions for some people in Toronto. And it's really just because of hockey. That's what
and if anything, this nepotism shit, like we said, and I know we'll get off of it here, but this showing Kurt Angle scrambling to find a lackluster opponent for his quote-unquote son, just made it even worse. How is this going to get this kid over?
At least Axel was a name on the roster we know.
Yes.
This guy was just like, this is straight up 1980s house shows where it was like, no, actually 1980s, you were lucky to get a name. It's like, well, actually, Jason Jordan's a mid-carder. So, yeah, it was like the 90s, 80s and early 90s house shows. You get a mid-carder versus a jobber for like three quarters of the card.
It's just coming off like this father looking for an easy way out for his son, like finding the easiest opponents. And it's head-scratching to think how it's going to get him over, unless they turn him heel, which I think is what they're going to do. They're making too many asinine booking decisions for this not to be a predictable heel turn eventually from one of them, Kurt or Jason. So...
do you think they think, creative thinks that they're like, oh, we're just going to show that Jason Jordan's one of the boys and he's just ready to compete? Do you think that's what they think they're getting across?
I think maybe 3 of the 47 writers think that. That's the problem, though. It's overcomplicated. You don't need that many guys in the kitchen cooking.
No, you really don't. I can't even cook with another person in the kitchen. When I'm cooking in the kitchen, get the fuck out of my way.
If anything we've learned since the Inner Circle days when Vince's go-to guys are like Bruce Pritchard and Pat Patterson, when you put all these writers in one room, all it is a bunch of people arguing with each other, and coming up with the best simple solution at the end of the day, which is to appease all the writers to make everyone happy. And what that does is nullify your product because you're giving us a lackluster, half-assed fucking angle because it was a safe angle because it made everyone happy.
Yeah, they try to tick off the more boxes that they can on the checklist.
I miss the Vince McMahon who didn't give a fuck about hurting people's feelings. Is it just me? I miss that Vince.
No, I miss that Vince a lot. That Vince was a ruthless motherfucker. That Vince who goes on interviews and gets offended at questions and then fucking just his whole face just changes.
Yeah, ask Bob Costas about old Vince.
Exactly. Up next, Cole informs us that Bayley is out of SummerSlam, and this led to one of my favorite segments of Monday Night Raw this year.
History for me. You can't see me right now, but I am rubbing my hands together because you brought this up.
Well, you know what? Since you're so excited, I'm gonna do you a favor right here. You take it. You share it with the people.
Bayley came out for her little "I can't compete at SummerSlam farewell, I'll be back" hero End of the sunset promo, like we see with DB and Edge and all these guys. Thing is, when those guys did it, it got over. Thing is, here, for one, it's in Canada. I know the announcers love to call it backwards land and blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit, because you could have had this in New York City, Chicago, and I guarantee you the crowd would have reacted the same way. I say it all the time on my show, your show. If anyone from the draft has come out more damaged or an NXT call-up than Bayley, I'd like to see that person. They have completely blundered this woman's push in the transition to the main roster. They don't know how to handle Bayley. And I'm not going to throw all the blame on their booking. The woman is by far, this is a bold statement for all you Bayley fans, one of the worst fucking promos I've ever heard in my life. Life. I've heard Ken Patera cut a promo. Okay, people? It's abysmal. It is pathetic how bad this woman is at cutting a promo on the fly. It really is. And it makes me feel horrible for talented women like Candice LeRae. Women like that who are stuck in the Mae Young Classic, for fuck's sake. And I'm not saying Bayley's not talented.
Or what about poor Leva Bates, who's not even in that fucking tournament?
Amen. A fucking man.
How you not going to have Leva? The fuck?
But you know what? If anything, I'd like to think that somebody back there has taken notice that this woman needs work. There's a lot of rumors of people being called back down to NXT. Do you think Bayley would be one of them, or you think she's too established for them?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I think she's too established that she won't go back down. But I think, like you mentioned on a we do so many fucking different podcasts. I don't remember which one, but I know you mentioned it. This might be the best thing that happened to Bayley.
It is. And I don't want to come off like a dick. This injury could be the best thing that ever happened to her.
No, when we say that, we mean in strictly like the wrestling world and refreshing your character sense.
Yes, turning negatives into positives, basically.
Exactly. We're not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not a big Bayley fan. I used to be, but I'm not since she's been on the main roster. But I don't want her to get hurt. I only want Becky Lynch to get hurt.
They found themselves in a pickle now with how they book Bayley. It's time to cool her off. That's great. But if they bring her back as a babyface, it's just flat out not going to work. Nobody's going to accept it. Even Izzy turned on Bayley. But if they bring her back as a heel, that would be the route to go. But can the woman pull off a heel? So now they're in this pickle. What the fuck do we do?
Well, what if this? Because everybody seems to really love Sasha Banks, right? Everybody seems to be really into Sasha Banks. She goes for the title, right? Bayley comes back, screws Sasha Banks, sets up that feud. But this time, Bayley's the heel.
Yeah. That's exactly how I'd book it. I just don't know if she's a Neville, where this guy had this untapped promo in him who was amazing, and we had no clue. I don't see Bayley pulling that off. Now, she could totally prove me wrong, and at the end of the day, I want her to prove me wrong.
And if you ask me, right now is the best time to try that experiment with Bayley, because people are obviously turning on her organically, so fucking go with it.
Yeah, they got to do something. It's desperation mode with that woman's career. It really is. And I want to say I feel bad for her, but the comment she made in this promo, and you know what I'm talking about. The people of you that are booing me, I'm not talking to you. People shit on Roman Reigns and John Cena all you want. They never make comments like that. They just play it off. Because they're fucking professionals.
Well, I think the thing is when you come out and you start thanking people, I want to thank people for all your tweets. And then as soon as she said the word tweets, people started booing the shit out of her. And then, yeah, like you said, her line of, well, I'm not reading this for you guys booing. I'm reading this for the people that support me. What kind of piece of shit, arrogant fucking thing is that to say? You're a baby face. Do a John Cena where I'm glad you guys are here and you're allowed to express yourselves.
If anything, turn it back in their face like a Cena does or something. At least get yourself over. Don't bury yourself.
Or take Alexa Bliss as an example and fucking play to the crowd.
You think about it. You're a baby face, broski, and you're cutting a farewell promo like that. What's the worst kind of line you could say? That one?
Yeah, pretty much.
What did you think about this, though? I mean, this was as entertaining as this was. I'm not gonna lie, this was cringy to watch. It really was. I hate sometimes.
I loved every second of it. I loved every single second.
I did to an extent, but I see the potential that they could have had in this woman merchandise-wise with this female John Cena shit, and I just watched them shit the bed.
Overall, I think it's a fucking travesty because she was so hot in NXT, and it could have easily she's got a gimmick that is perfect for everyone, but they overdid it, and they made her retarded. With her, hugging Corey Graves after interviews and just, hugging at inappropriate, weird fucking times and acting like a retard. And she's supposed to be pedo bait. She's not she's not supposed to be like 3 years old. She's supposed to be like a tween. You know,
I think this is what happened when they brought her up. The old man looked at a Bayley match. See, the thing, Bayley's gimmick, it was based on irony. It was kind of a, yes, she's a hugger girl, but she's not actually a I love all kids. It was an ironic gimmick, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it got over. Then they brought it to the main roster, like, well, she really is the hugger, and she's hokey, and that's why I think it shit the bed. They didn't know the difference between the irony of it and basically.
Yeah, and playing it straight, and they're playing it straight, and it's not working.
Exactly.
So
there's a lot of work to be done for that woman.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like you mentioned, and I reiterated here today, probably one of the best things that could happen for her character-wise. Gives her a chance to go away, for people to miss her, and we'll see what happens when she comes back. I'm hoping we get some sort of evolution where this injury makes her bitter, where she watches her best friend take the shot that should have been hers. So we'll see what happens. But moving on to, speaking of Sasha Banks, Bayley's best friend. She was in a match next with Alicia Fox and Emma. I don't remember this match at all. I think I was on Twitter.
As you should have been for this match. No, I don't.
All I really remember that it felt like they didn't have much time, so it felt rushed and kind of disjointed, I guess, for lack of a better term. It's just
they're scrambling now because the Bayley injury wasn't planned, basically.
Yeah, I guess we got to give them some. We even have to give like creative or the booking a little bit of leeway here because of Bayley's injury. But still, I mean, you should always have a plan B, or maybe this is their plan B. Christ.
Yeah.
Then Enzo talked for a while. I don't want to. Whatever. Standard Enzo promo.
Yep.
Led to a match between Anderson and Gallows and the Big Show and Enzo, who went over the Good Brothers. No surprise there. Nothing really to talk about here in this silly little match.
Yeah, they deserve way better, Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, yeah,
but I feel like I've been saying that for over a year. So.
Then we came up to a Finn Balor segment where he says he's here to talk and says that this is Balor Club.
Woof.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm reading the notes ahead of time here, and I'm just like, it's a Bray Wyatt Finn Balor feud. There you go. That's all you need to know. Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro. This was a fucking good match. I was shocked. I really enjoyed this match. A little long for my taste. It was almost 20 minutes on TV. Christ.
I can't remember if I've ever said that Dean Ambrose had the match of the night, but he had the match of the night. Well, no, I'm wrong because of the main event. I'm so sorry. The last man standing, but second best match of the night.
Second best.
And I don't even think I've ever said Ambrose has second best.
There you go. I'm with you on that one. I was like, well, no, wait a minute there, buddy. Wait a minute.
It all blends together, man. It's 3 hours of Raw.
Fair enough. But no,
great match.
Yeah, this is a really good match. Surprisingly enough, I really enjoyed Ambrose in this match. And I hate to say that. It makes me sick to my stomach. But maybe, I don't know, probably Cesaro being in there. They had some they had some cool spots.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a really surprisingly good match. And I mean, if this leads, it's obviously going to, but, if Rollins and Ambrose can have this good a match on their own, and then maybe if we combine it, we could get a really good tag team match. Because we've been getting some good tag team matches recently on both Raw and SmackDown. More so on SmackDown with the New Day and the Usos, but.
Yep. Which is criminal because they're probably going to put that on the pre-show at SummerSlam. That SmackDown tag.
Don't even fucking start with me. And this is where everything kind of stopped making sense. No, imagine that. After the match, the champions attack Ambrose, but Rollins is there to even the odds and to prove that he has changed. He clears the ring to save the day, and the fans want that Shield fist bump, and they stare at each other forever. Oh my God!
Like Terry Funk, forever.
Forever.
Jesus.
Forever.
It really did.
But
really,
like,
it's not just you.
It
seemed like an hour.
Like, take down the drama a notch, boys. Are you about to fucking make out? Like, holy shit. And it was just awkward because Ambrose just held his fist out there forever. So how weak do you look, bro?
I think they're going to heal Ambrose at the end of this.
I hope so.
He needs it.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind freshen him up a bit. Why not? Maybe just let him be a piece of shit. He makes faces that.
If you, okay, let's say you and me were just hanging out, all of a sudden you hit me with a fucking chair, and you're like, "Fuck Kayfabe Today podcast." I don't think I'd forgive you anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? But so, like, if they did that, I would get it. But Rollins, it's just a clusterfuck. Guys are baby faces that shouldn't be baby faces. I don't fucking understand, especially this Seth like bowed out thing. I don't know.
We didn't mention it, but for those of you who didn't watch, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast, but Ambrose had his fist out to get that Shield reunion. He's saying, all right, I forgive you now. And Rollins just walked away for some reason, even though he's been desperate for Dean Ambrose's cock for a couple weeks now. So I don't really understand what's going on here. It's not compelling. It's just dumb. It's dumb.
Not compelling. Best way to sum it up.
People just love the Shield. Well, women love the Shield.
Women do love the Shield. I liked the Shield. I really did, but I'm smart enough to know that the guys don't need each other at this stage of the game. Don't do it. Unless it's like a fucking Survivor Series.
I mean, they've already done it with and they weren't together, but they've been in the ring together with triple threats, and
yes,
they've blown their load on this. And it's not even the Shield. It's Rollins and Ambrose, who weren't the tag team. It was Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins that was the tag team. So this doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't help that I feel like we've gotten the Shield reunion, like you said, like 5 times, and we really didn't, but they would team up and blah, blah, blah. And that triple threat match, people can argue all you want, that should have happened at Mania instead of Battleground or wherever the fuck it happened at last year.
I agree. Then we go to our Cruiserweight match, Akira Tozawa versus Arya Daivari. And again, I kind of enjoyed this match. It was fine. I mean, it was unnecessary, but it was fine.
Mind how the tables have turned, because I made a sandwich this week for this. I really did. Even on the fucking Hulu replay, I made a sandwich for this match. I'm not gonna, because they keep having this match on 205, so I feel like I've seen it for because you don't watch 205 Live. So. Yeah, so I feel like they're just like giving you a more watered down match on Raw, which is ass backwards. You should let them showcase more on Raw.
They should just have, great matches all the time. Maybe, I don't know.
But I did watch the highlights though for the show to take notes. It was okay. It was all right.
I'm a Tozawa fan, and I'm giving him I just like him. I don't know. Sometimes I just like people. I don't have reasons for it, and I just like him. And so I'm giving him a shot, and I've been paying attention to his matches, and I like his matches. So, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nicer to Logan.
I mean, that's all you can really do at the end of the day. These people that split hairs and overcomplicate shit. If he has good matches, he entertains you. That's all you really need to get behind a guy.
Yeah, I agree. And I just mentioned Logan, by the way, and I'm sure you'll agree, Travis. Big shout out to Logan for the last Future of Wrestling podcast. He had to wrangle in the Can-Am Delights on more than one occasion, and I thought he did a pretty damn good job, because we're not easy to control. We're two hosts.
Huge shout out to Logan as always.
We're two hosts on a podcast, and we always end up to be on other people's podcasts together at the same time. So
yeah,
it's hard for people to rein us in. But definitely go listen to the latest episode once it's out. We'll be posting links for sure. We did a little trivia game, and I wish that the podcast was just a trivia game. To be honest, that was so much fucking fun. And we're working on another one, a much bigger one. We should do it around WrestleMania and have like WrestleMania trivia. I'd do better at that.
Or like the Big Four, Survivor Series, Mania.
Yeah,
Rumble.
We do it 4 times a year.
There you go.
Crown a champion at the end of the year.
Boom.
We all put in $2,000.
But yeah, definitely get over there and check out their show, Future Wrestling, guys. It's good stuff. Especially, it's an NXT recap show if you guys, because you don't cover it here, so get your fill over there on it.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. This man right here, Travis, he knows. Unfortunately, we got to take the enthusiasm and the fun down a bit, because we got a Nia Jax versus Mickie James versus Dana Brooke match. And my main problem about this match, well, 1, Dana Brooke was in it, and 2, did anybody really think anybody aside from Nia Jax was going to win?
Nope.
No, exactly. So, I mean, she won in 3 minutes. There was, 3 women in the match, so whatever. After that, we get a bunch of garbage. Lawler, Lita, and Rosenberg are on the 2-hour SummerSlam pre-show.
Yeah.
So we get that announcement like anybody gives a flying fuck. Then we got a Goldust video package, which was fine. I was into that one. He said he's searching for his next hero, villain, or possibly leading lady, which has led to some speculation to Summer Rae coming back and being like his new Marlena. I don't know if you saw that.
That's the first time hearing that.
Don't agree. Do not like. Her boobs aren't round enough. Or
Well,
existent. Or existent.
That's just one of the million excuses I could think not to bring back Summer Rae. No, I was fine with this promo. I just wanted to lead to somewhere and not another R-Truth or meaningless feud. I'm tired of saying it. I want him in that IC title picture.
I'd love it, dude. I'm with you on that one. I've always liked, but I wish it wasn't 2017. I wish everybody wasn't so fucking sensitive, and I wish he could ramp up the homosexual shit. That was the best part about Goldust.
The Ahmed Johnson promos where he was naked with like a Hershey bars on his cock was tremendous.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
God, I remember watching that as a kid. And my parents walked in like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
like they were
it's not
so
porn, Mom.
You gotta think, guys, that was '96 that shit went down, and I was, my parents were prepared for that in the wrestling. So, who was?
This led us to our main event, Travis, a last man standing match between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. This was
I've yet to see these two have that match.
This was almost perfect. Almost. And they came so fucking close to it being perfect. And I'm going to tell you right now what killed it for me is, and it's not even that it killed it for me. Here's what I wish happened. And like, oh God, it's so frustrating because they were so close. Okay. The end of the match, basically, Samoa Joe comes out and chokes out Roman Reigns, leading to Braun Strowman winning, right?
Yep.
What I wanted was for him to come out and choke them both out. That way, You're making Joe look fucking huge. You're not hurting Reigns or Strowman because they just went through a hell of a fucking match. And it was a hell of a match. Hard hitting as fuck. Was this the chair throw?
Yeah. This was a tremendous match.
One of the best fucking spots in 2017 is the chair throw.
Yep.
I loved it.
Did Sabu proud on that?
Oh God, it was so good. We got it. It's already 4. Fuck. We're running a little bit low out of time. What did you think of this match, Travis?
I liked it. I love the match. Like, it was tremendous. Anybody that says that match was shit is just hating on Roman to hate on Roman. Let's be real. But I was okay with Joe coming out and just choking Roman. The thing I had a problem with, it was a big one for me. At the count of 8, Braun pops up like it's nobody. Like, he popped up so fucking fast.
Yeah.
That killed it for me. If anything, that was the worst part of this match.
Yeah.
I hated that. But I totally get what, like, Joe choking out Braun. I totally get why you would have booked it out. But they didn't. But I think it was okay still. It still made Joe look like a fucking piece of shit heel. I don't know. It's just that goddamn Braun popping up killed it for me, really.
I be honest, I forgot about that. So that's a very fair point.
And I wonder if he called shit for that backstage, too.
Probably not. The old man doesn't care anymore. Doesn't give a shit.
It's probably Regal. Chewed him out.
But yeah, so that was Monday Night Raw. We're gonna cut it short. We got a little time crunch here this week, so we're gonna. I still want to talk about some stuff in SmackDown, so we're gonna cut it right here. Listen to a marking out ad, and we'll be right back.
This is Marking Out.
Hello, it's Brandon
And Dave.
and we do a weekly pro wrestling podcast called Marking Out.
And you can check us out on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and markingout.com.
You guys are awesome.
As always.
And we're back, and I'm not too sure what that was at the end of the last segment. I think I had a stroke, but I'm going to try to soldier through here and get through SmackDown real quick because we're running out of time. All right, here's your official SmackDown results. The Usos defeated Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger at 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Charlotte defeated Lana at 2:25 via pinfall. Non-title match, Carmella defeated Naomi at 6 minutes and 25 seconds via pinfall. And then Randy Orton defeated Jinder Mahal at 11:38 via pinfall. There was a John Cena promo at the beginning of the night. It was very good, and then he fucking destroyed Baron Corbin on the mic, kind of killing some of his heat. This was a one-sided battle, if ever there was one.
Yeah, talk about a guy who's not equipped to cut a promo on the fly. We speak of Bayley. Corbin could be up there with one of the worst promos in the company. Cena ate this guy alive. The skinny fat comment was tremendous.
Yeah.
It was awesome. God, and then the guy who was deer in headlights, he just went back to the script, what he was supposed to say. You could tell Cena does shit on the fly, and Corbin was like, well, that's fine, John, but I'll still be there. It was horrible to watch his comeback, or his attempt at a comeback.
And it wasn't even really a comeback. It was just like, well, I'm just going to pretend you didn't say that.
And my God, I know he's not your favorite fucking wrestler in the world or whatever, but what a pop for Daniel Bryan from that crowd.
Oh, no, I have a yes, yes, yes tattoo, dude. I love Daniel Bryan. I just don't like his general manager role. Because he always fucks with Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's a kayfabe hate, though.
Cena made this promo completely awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was a great way to, and he put over Nakamura again, so a nice little another rub from their match last week. So that's always good. Cena's doing a fucking great job. I love John Cena.
I got to say though, out of all the matches they've announced for SummerSlam, Broski, this is the one I'm least hyped for.
Which one? The Cena.
Corbin and Cena, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I feel it's pretty pointless.
They've had the match before and it sucked.
Yeah, exactly. This led us to the Usos and versus Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger, two good Canadian boys versus the Usos in Canada. Ty Dillinger from Niagara Falls, which is really not that far from Toronto. I think it's about 45 minutes an hour, if that. I thought it was a decent match. I kind of like Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger together. It's like the Job Squad, 2017.
Yeah, they're gonna. Word on the streets is they're a legit tag team now. They want to make them a team.
They were tagging at house shows. This is the match. I saw Tyler Dillinger and Sami Zayn. It wasn't against the Usos. I don't remember who it was against. This is like last week by now.
Right.
That's a long time ago. So I don't remember that. But yeah, I feel like they mesh well together. They kind of have Zayn is a little bit bigger than Ty Dillinger, but they kind of have the same size, the same style. So I feel like they could, if they incorporate some tag team moves where they're working together, I think it could be a really good tag team. And they desperately, let's be honest, SmackDown and Raw need some good tag teams desperately. So
they do. I'm not in love with the idea of making them a team because I think they're both great singles guys, but they're not doing anything with them anyway.
That's it. They're not doing anything, so why not? Maybe it'll get them some TV time, turn some heads. Who knows?
The match was fine also, except for that sloppy tequila sunrise where the Uso kind of botched a little, but it was okay. He pulled it off. He saved it.
He did.
And then the New Day with the most intensity I've ever seen from them. I loved that, by the way, where they got the one up on them.
I did too, dude. That's what I like about the New Day, and they don't let them do it that often, and maybe that's why it's kind of special. But when they stop being goofy and they turn on to that, they flip that switch and they turn on the intensity. It's convincing, even though they're in brightly rainbow-colored spandex. They manage to look, because spandex or not, Big E is a big fucking dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if I was having an epileptic fit or dying of shock, but they actually let a babyface who wasn't named Roman get their heat back, and I couldn't believe it. And it was great to see and refreshing to see for once.
Right. It makes sense. It moves the feud forward. Yep, big fan of it as well. I'm a big fan of this New Day Usos feud. I think it's really great.
I'm a bigger fan than I thought I'd ever be of that feud, and I am too.
Yeah, fair enough. Backstage, we have Renee Young interviewing Randy Orton. He talks about Rusev, whatever, because now it's time for Fashion Peaks. Fuck.
Yeah.
I love
Double A making a cameo this week.
Oh God.
That I was tickled pink to see Arn Anderson. I really was. I love Double A.
Man. Oh God, it was so good. And then I love the part where they asked if he destroyed Tully, and he said he did because they should have been named Arn. They should have named him Arn.
Yeah. Yep.
And then steals.
Here's something I also read.
Steals donuts.
Here's something I read about Breezango this week. Vince McMahon loves Breezango as a team. Okay. What's the worst thing, though, in your opinion, about the Breezango team? What's the worst thing about that team?
I don't know, that they're not on TV anymore.
Fucking name of the team. You know what Vince loves the most out of that team? The name of the team.
That they're called. That they're called Breezango.
Yes, he loves that name. Apparently, he's all about them. I read this week.
Jesus Christ.
Love it. He's in love with that name. My God, that's brilliant.
And do you know how this started? I read an article this week where they were just bored backstage and they weren't doing anything, and they had already decided, like WWE had already decided they were a tag team. So they just started shooting these promos backstage, and people saw it, and I guess the old man saw it, and that's how they started doing it on TV.
As much as we bitched about Tyler Breeze, just getting squashed when he debuted and we had high expectations, I think he's actually doing better for himself now than he would have ever done. I think this is going to get him over now in a more Edge and Christian type way.
Yeah.
Because they remind me of Edge Christian.
I agree. and I've been a Tyler Breeze fan for a long time, and even Fandango, even when he had that dancing gimmick, that got over for a minute. Huge.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
remember Fandangoing? Because I do.
I do.
This led to Charlotte completely embarrassing Lana, which I thought was pretty funny. Charlotte came off as a pretty good heel here, which she isn't supposed to be, but she's good at it, so it was fun to watch.
I like this match. It made sense. It's exactly how they should have made Charlotte look like, oh, you are no competition for me, because she is the best woman in the company by far.
Yeah, by far. Yeah, I agree. Then we go into Shane McMahon lays down the law to AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. The conspiracy rears its ugly head once again. This is where Kevin Owens talked a little smack on Bret Hart, which I fucking loved. This isn't the first time you screwed a guy from Canada. And then he says the difference between me and Bret Hart is that Bret deserved it.
Yeah, tremendous. They showed footage of Shane screwing Austin at Survivor Series 98 on the Titantron when he said that or whatever. I really wanted this feud to end after their last match, but this segment alone got me invested again. It was really good.
Oh yeah, it was a great segment, and we don't have the time here to go through it, word for word. So definitely go check it out. It was the most entertaining segment of the week, I think. That and Fashion Peaks was probably my
Cena promo too.
And the Cena promo where the only thing about the Cena promo is that I didn't like the way. Not that. All right, it's not a knock on Cena. I just didn't like the way he completely fucking destroyed Baron Corbin.
Right.
That's more knock on Corbin than it is Cena. Because Cena's just doing his job, being out there and trying to be as entertaining as he can.
Cena wants you to fire back. He was waiting for Corbin to fire back. Come on.
Yeah, I mean the way I look at it is when Cena offers you, when he starts going and he offers you kind of that door, it's up to you to walk through it. If you don't, he's gonna fucking he's gonna slam it in your fucking face. So.
A lot of people give Cena shit for years about just burying guys, quote unquote, squash guys. But you hear the latest Simon Gotch interview, for example. He really is one of the boys, and guys say it all the time. He will invest in a young guy if he sees something in them. He'll help get guys over. He gets a bad rap because he's at the top of the mountain, and it's inevitable to get that. Because look, guys like Hogan and Nash in the past put that fucking umbrella factor on all top guys, right? But Cena really is one of the boys, and I don't think I've ever really. I mean, I'm sure he plays politics. They all do, the top guys. But I've also kind of got that feeling from him that he's one of the boys at the end of the day too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And that Kevin Nash Hulk Hogan reference there. Yeah, I couldn't possibly agree with that more. I think that was right on the money.
Just like SmackDown this week, which was the better show.
I agree. Non-title match, Naomi versus Carmella. I didn't watch this. I don't care. I really don't care. All right, Nakamura speaks. Also, I love Nakamura, but not for his promos. It was basically saying he was going to take out Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. And then this led to the main event, champion Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton.
The hero's goddamn welcome for Jinder Mahal. My God.
There you go. Bizarro land, I guess.
Well, he's from Toronto, right?
Yeah, it's going to happen. And then they made him lose.
They sure did.
Man, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Why didn't Rusev just come out and call Orton the match for their meeting?
There you go.
Why couldn't you just fucking do that? Get Rusev some goddamn heat back and don't hurt Jinder.
I couldn't possibly agree more. You're not hurting Jinder. You could do it so that the ref his back is turned. You fucking get Jinder beat because they made a big deal about the Singh brothers not being there, right?
Right.
So if you're gonna make a big deal about it, have Rusev come out. And then he still wins like a chicken shit fucking heel. You keep his heat on him. You get fucking sympathy to Orton for Rusev's interference, and you get heat on Rusev. You fucking benefit all three guys in one fell swoop. Nah, fuck that. Let's just bury Jinder, our champion.
You ever notice how every time they advertise any fucking cage match in that company, there's always interference, right? Because the cage is designed to keep the interference out, but that means there's going to be interference. Now, in a regular match, apparently there's this goddamn electric invisible force field we can't see because guys never interfere in regular matches. I have to yell at least once on an episode. I got to get myself. So.
I yell all the
time.
But
it's like backwards, and I don't fucking I mean, I get it with the cage thing, but is there an invisible force field Rusev was scared of here? Like,
there must have
made no sense.
Yeah, it really didn't, and I hate it because we just booked it in a way where it benefited all three guys, and it took us fucking 2 seconds to do. just having a conversation, and it makes more sense than what we got. And that's frustrating because why would you hurt anyone when you can benefit everyone? Because, like you said, it gives meaning to the Orton-Rusev feud, right? Because now there's no fucking meaning.
Especially when you have a guy like Orton, let's say it, he just can't be damaged at this point in his career. You can make him eat pins for the next 2 years, and he still will be Randy Orton and still be over.
And plus, even if he does, he just doesn't give a shit.
That's why I love Randy Orton. I don't love him as a performer because he's boring as paint, but as a person, he's awesome because he doesn't give a fuck.
I agree. Orton's just like, here, look, I made my money. I got fuck you money. I'm going to do this because it makes me money. But I don't give a fuck. And he's honest about it. And you can tell he's honest about it because you just watch one of his matches.
Another shout out to that Simon Gotch interview. He said it himself about Orton. Orton and Cena are like those guys, but Cena's the company man. Orton gives no fucks.
Yeah, I saw that preview. I really want to get it.
Yep, really just for the Great Khali hygiene stories, basically.
God, yeah. Well, maybe that's kind of low on my list. I don't know what's going on with you over there, but
I'm a lonely guy. So
there you go. That was SmackDown. Travis, thank you so much. This was a on-the-fly show. We were supposed to record later today, but I had some plans. They fell through, so we decided, bam, quick show for the homies. And it'll be out quicker. So thank you for joining me today. Where can we find you on the internet, and what do you do there?
As always, you can follow me on Twitter at @TMD and check out TMD on YouTube. Hit that subscribe, smash that like button, check out the reset button if you're into gaming. My podcast with my pally Tannen. And Cruise Control, that was our 205 live show, is now actually moving over to the Future of Wrestling channel. Going to try to keep my stuff more gaming related on the channel, so we'll see where it goes. Thank you again, man, for that.
We're diversifying. We're making a network here.
Yep, diversify your bonds. I'm botchamania all over the place this week with my words. Apologies.
That's okay, so am I. On the Fly podcast, no preparation. We're going in raw dog, baby. If you want to check out my shit, well, you already know where to because you're on my channel. Been putting out a ton of content recently. Lots more to come. So be sure to check that out. If you want to support me and the things I do here on this wonderful channel, you can do so in two ways. ProWrestlingTees.com/FTITM and Patreon.com/FTITM. So for Travis, my name is Eric, and this has been the Kayfabe Today podcast. Yes, said it at the same time. You can't buy that kind of chemistry.
And you can't teach that. Suck it, Enzo.
Why are there so many songs about rain?